Welcome back, Kaizen Esports. Today we've got our grand finals brought to you by Tournament Team here today. Um, we've got Impact on one side, Riot on the other. I'm expecting a great game. What do you expect here today, Bacon?
Yeah, it should be a really good game. These teams have faced each other. This will be now their third time with Impact knocking Riot down to the losers bracket. So I think Riot wants to come back here.
Absolutely, yeah. Well, let's get into this game and we'll see who takes that comes out first on this map.
Yeah,
We're gonna
should
head
we
into
review the
Oasis for
review
our
the
first
bans
one.
here?
Oh yeah.
It
So
looks like
on.
Impact banned Diva and Juno.
Oh, I have to start it. Oops. I forgot I have responsibilities.
The Diva Juno ban on Impact side, and Riot banned Soj and Ana.
Initiating match.
Getting into this and I didn't set it.
Oh, did you not put the bans in?
Whoops. So scuffed.
You have
I'm nervous,
responsibilities.
man. I'm nervous. This is what Anna. Go to
Ana,
Juno.
Soj, Juno, Diva.
Soj. I'm nervous. First time casting. And then they banned Diva.
Welcome to Oasis.
I'm folding under pressure.
It's all right. Pressure makes diamonds redacted.
But I'm excited to see what they pull out here. I'm
Initiating
I'm
match.
low-key expecting kind of a ball mirror here on this first map. Both Cosmo and Marlon have proven themselves to be quite fortuitous on the ball. Kind of just like some dive, a lot of dive. Bonker very very good at the Venture and Tracer. Axar also very good on the Tracer. Think maybe a hit scan from Resurrect. Speedy obviously very good Genji player, and then Dango and Snappish always on the Kiriko Lucio backline. Yeah, we'll see Cosmore on the Orisa to start out. Marlon on the ball. Resurrect on this Cassidy. Kind of going for more of an anti-dive setup, as Riot going with kind of this full dive. Very excited to see
5, 4,
as we get into this first.
1.
Oh, Marlon switching over to the Hazard at the last second. Still kind of going with a full dive. With an anti-dive from Impact. Impact setting up on this right side. Trying to get an angle. Spear coming out from Cosmo. Pushes Marlon back just a little bit. This is Riot are going to get set up on this low ground here. Marlon coming up from the back end. Trying to get a pick onto a backline character. Marlon jumping in, looking for Finny. Resurrect catches out Speedy. Looks like Impact are going to take this first fight here. Bonker and Marlon are still on the point. About half capping. Takes out Marlon taking out Resurrect here. As it looks like Impact is going to get control of this first point. Down goes Bonker. As Impact are going to be able to cap this first point.
Yeah, it looked like a pretty dominant fight there from Impact. There wasn't really any chance for Riot to make a move. They got the one pick, but I don't think that was really enough for Riot to take over.
Yeah, it looks like Impact's going to get set up on this high ground here. Resurrect moving back a little bit, trying to regroup with this team. Marlon coming around this left side, trying to look for an angle. Bonker coming around from the low end. As Marlon goes for the engage, gets speared and drops very low. Cleanse coming out from Snappish will keep him alive just for a little bit longer. As Riot are able to flip this point here. Cosmo and Impact dropping down to the low ground. As Dango gets picked off early, as well as Snappish. Speedy coming up to the height. But it's going to be very hard for Impact to be able to win this fight without their supports. Down goes Marlon and Bonker as Impact will get the flip back and retake control of this point. Speedy going down early is going to stagger them out just a little bit more, buy Impact a little bit more time.
My ultimate's ready.
So looking at the ultimate bank, you could definitely see that Impact has had, well, pun intended, more impact with them having Pulse Bomb and High Noon both available for this next fight.
Marlin coming up to the height, doing a little bit of damage. It looks like Riot are gonna try and ultimate coming out from Marlin, doesn't end up finding anybody. High Noon coming out from Resurrect. As Marlin and Snappish are gonna take out Jade and Axar here pretty early. Vinny goes down to Speedy. As Riot are gonna be able to take control of this point. Pulse Bomb still on the board for Axar, as Pulse Bomb coming online here for Bonker. Speedy getting pretty close to his blade, as well as Snappish getting that Kitsune here. But I mean, Impact are definitely still have the advantage in the ult bank. Dango switching over to Lucio, switching off of that Wu Yang. Axar coming in early, Kitsune coming out here from Snappish. Ultimate coming out from Axar, doesn't end up finding anybody. Bonker ends up finding Resurrect with the Pulse. Wall coming out here from Marlin. Marlin is all up in their back line. Jade going down early. And it looks like Spinny and Axar are going to get caught out here too. It's just Cosmo that's end up being left. Big stagger coming out from Riot as we're going to get to pretty even percentages across the points. Kitsune's still on the board here for Finny. Jade's coming up on a beat. Will Riot be able to counter both support ults here?
I think Speedy's hoping that they can pick off Jade here first with that blade so it doesn't get beated. But I guess we're going to lead off with a Kitsune.
Yep, Kitsune coming out here from Finny. Marlin looking for a pick onto their backline. Jade up there on the high ground. Kind of getting a 1v1 here with Snappish. Snappish going down to half, but ends up staying alive. Speedy and Bonker taking out both DPS for Impact. Beat coming out here from Dango, gonna keep everybody on Riot alive.
Ajax.
Marlin coming down very low. Jade ends up Ajaxing and losing that beat. And it looks like Riot are gonna be able to come out. Oh, we've got a touch here from Axar. Resurrect going down, Speedy bringing out the blade, and it looks like it's gonna be all Riot here for this first point.
That really was a flip from, if you would have asked me in the beginning half of that map who was going to take that, all my votes would have been on Impact, but Riot really came from behind there.
Ready for battle.
This looks like we're gonna go over to, what is this, University, right?
I think so.
Yeah, this is
Too many
much
sub
more
maps.
close quarters. Yeah, much more close quarters here. It looks like Riot's gonna stick with that dive setup, and Cosmo's gonna switch over to the Hazard here.
5, 4,
Resurrect sticking with his Cassidy to try and keep with the kind of an anti-dive setup,
capture the objective.
but it looks like both teams are gonna come out on very similar compositions here. Riot coming up on the high ground. Riot's gonna beat them there. Both walls coming out from both Hazards. Axar going down very low, but ends up getting out. Marlin kind of stuck out, spread away from his team. So Riot's gonna regroup here. Speedy going down early. Resurrect ends up going down to Dango. Axar falling very, very low. But it looks like he's gonna live through that. Finny going down. Marlin ends up going down on the side of Riot. Is Axar getting 2 picks on the point, but ends up going down to Speedy. It's just Cosmo on the point here against Speedy and Dango. Cosmo's gonna end up getting out. Resurrect taking out Dango here. But it looks like Impact's gonna be able to flip this point after Riot cap it. Marlins ends up taking down Resurrect early to see if Riot's gonna be able to push on this. Dango coming back to regroup with his team. Marlin going in on the back line. He's gonna fall very low. Cleanse coming out here from Snappish to keep him alive. Snappish ends up going down to Axar. Resurrect ends up taking out Bonker as well. It looks like Impact's gonna be able to retain control of this objective. Speedy ends up taking out 2 though. Marlin ends up going down, and then yeah, Impact is gonna be able to maintain control of this objective. Speedy caught out by himself, ends up getting out. Does Riot need to regroup here and try and get another fight in? Ults on the board for Impact. Has ult coming up. They have almost all of their ults aside from both support ults. Marlon coming in early, trying to add some pressure. Riot's gonna be able to flip this point. Cosmo going into the back line. He's gonna catch Dango into the Hazel. Dango ends up going down as well as Snappish. Both supports down for Riot early. Jade ends up going down from Impact. Resurrect catches Bonker. And Marlon goes down as well as Impact's gonna flip it back. Impact just maintaining control of this objective here.
My ultimate is ready. Saddle up.
No ults on the board yet for Riot, but it looks like we're coming close to about 3 of them. Both support ults about to come online for Impact, as well as both GBS. So early Kitsune coming out here from Snappish. Looks like Riot's gonna flip it again. Axar gets a touch at the last moment to make sure Riot does end up flipping a point. Cleanse coming out here from Finny. As both DPS are down fairly early. Cosmo going in on Snappish. Doesn't end up finding him. As Cos goes down as well, as Riot are gonna take control of this objective here. Jade resetting, trying to buy them some extra time. Impact have 4 ults on the board here. But so do Riot, so it's a pretty even on both ends. Aside from the Kitsune. Marlon going in for some early pressure. Hazel coming out, doesn't end up finding anybody. B coming out here from Jade, finds all 5. Cosmo kind of getting a little 1v1 with Speedy on one end. Cos jumping over, he's gonna find a wall. Axar finds Speedy. Django kind of caught out here. Kitsune coming out here from Finny, trying to clean this up. Marlon falling down very low. He's gonna end up going down to Jade. Axar taking out Dango, and Impact are gonna flip this point here. Riot need to find something fairly quickly in order to regain control of this objective. Looks like Marlon's gonna go in here for the touch. Early B coming out here from Dango. Blade coming out here from Speedy, finds Finny. Marlon ends up finding Resurrect as well. Cleanse coming out here from Snappish to negate the Hazel here. Cos falling down very low, he ends up going down. As Riot are gonna take this fight.
For Riot there, being at 99.
100%. One ult on the board for Impact. This high noon needs to get a lot of value if Impact are going to want to win this fight. Snappish coming very close to that carry ult as well. Impact are going to need to get a touch here very quickly. Jade and Cosmo on point in order to get that touch. Snappish coming out here with the Kitsune. Cleanse coming out from Finny to keep everyone alive. Snappish ends up going down early, but Resurrect going down in the middle of the high noon is going to really negate a lot of that value. Marlon ends up taking out Jade, as it's a 3v3 on the point. Dango very low, ends up going down to Axar. Finny also very low. Bonker ends up finding Finny. Hazel coming out from Marlon. Gonna keep Cause in place. Marlon very low. Pulse coming out onto Marlon. Keeps him. Cleanse ends up keeping him alive. Marlon very, very low here. Marlon ends up going down. And it looks like Impact are going to take control of this point. It's just Speedy and Dango on the point. Speedy ends up taking out Axar. Pulse coming out. And then Riot step off of the point at the last moment. As 1-1 going to round 3.
Yeah, personally, I think in this third map, it's the tracer difference right now for me. I think that Impact having a way with Resurrect on the Cassidy to counter Bonker on the Tracer, whereas on Riot they don't have a way to keep Axar in check. And I think that Dango and Snappish are struggling with that, because Axar is just getting a lot of early picks for Impact here. I think that's making a big difference.
Ball coming out here from Cosmo, with Riot sticking with the same comp that they've had. Both Sim TPs coming out early. This is going to be a full dive setup from both sides. Cos on this ball, trying to find what he can. Snappish ends up finding Finny early. Slam coming out here from Cause. It's gonna end up. Speedy ends up finding Jade though. Both supports are down, and it's just gonna domino effect from the rest for the rest of this. Cosmo does find Snappish to get a little bit of a stagger going. Cause is going to get out though, as Riot are gonna take this first objective here. Marlon pressuring Cosmo, trying to get him to not add anything. Cleanse coming out early from Snappish onto Marlon. He's trying to keep him alive. Cause is falling very low, but he's gonna get out. Axar finding Snappish early. Dango finding Vinny, but Axar ends up finding Bonker as well. Speedy falling very low in the back line, and he's gonna end up getting taken out, but Cause ends up going down as it's just Dango and Marlon on the point. Dango ends up going down as Impact are gonna take this fight and flip the point. Getting very close to a pulse here, but Marlon also coming very close to that Hazard as well. This looks like that's going to be our first two ultimates on the board here. Cosmo setting up for a slam. Up on that height. He's going for a slam. Slams onto Marlon. Marlon getting that wall out in order to negate it. Cosmo regrouping with his team. Resurrect ends up finding Bonker here. As Marlon kind of by himself on the point right now, trying to add pressure. Snappish getting pressured. He's going to TP over to Marlon. He's falling very, very low. Ends up trying to get onto the high ground and misses. And the big slam coming out from Cause is going to find Marlon and Snappish here. Speedy resetting to try and regroup with his team. Marlon still has that Hazult. Kitsune coming very close for Snappish, as well as a pulse from Bonker, but we've also got three other ults about to come online for Impact here. Marlon coming in from pressure, gonna take that high ground up there. Snappish TPing to him. Here comes the Hazel out from Marlon. Ends up finding Finny, but they over the wall. Very hard to get in from that position. Marlon falling very low. They're gonna find Axar here, but Marlon's still very, very low on this point. Bonker ends up finding Finny. Cosmo ends up taking out Marlon, but Riot ends up flipping this point. Dango ends up getting out. He's gonna fall very low, but he ends up getting out. Cosmo coming in. He's gonna take that high ground. Slam coming out on the Snappish Cleanse. Ends up coming out. Zakiri getting caught out there. Ends up going down. Bonker going down as well to Jade. Marlon will end up going down as well as Impact end up flipping the point. Riot are going to have to get a touch here in order to keep this game going. Dango end up going down early. Because I don't think that Riot are going to be able to get a touch here. Bonker going for it, but ends up having to go for a recall. As Riot is going to take this first, or as Impact is going to take this first map.
Yeah, that was a very, very close game.
Very good showing from Impact, trying to keep their resources up, and then ended like going for people who are very much out of position. This is Axar with the play of the game here.
Fiddy, what do you think that Riot needed to do different there?
I think they just needed to find a way to stick together a little bit better. I think Snappish definitely got caught out a bunch. And then a couple of different people just going in by themselves. I think if they kind of just stay together and set up their dives a little bit quicker, I think it will be a lot better for Riot in the end. Because we're going to go over to a break as we get our next bans. We will be back soon. Welcome back, Kaizen. Going into King's Row here, we're gonna have a Brig ban and a Cast ban on the side of Riot with a Venture Malga ban on the side of Impact. Going in, what do we think we're expecting on both sides here?
I mean, I think that Riot looked really good on that dive.
Oh, they did, yeah.
They didn't do lineups. I think that to answer your question, I think Riot looked really good on the dive, so I think that I don't think that it would be a bad idea for them to do that, especially with the Diva being open now. Hazard's still open.
Yeah, definitely the Diva and the Hazard still open. I could definitely expect a Diva here. I think what I'm really expecting, I think Kaz and Marlon are probably gonna come out on a Rissamir and they're gonna go probably with a brawl on both ends here.
Yeah, with that Cassidy being banned, I think we'll probably see Tracer on both sides again.
100%. Especially with the Venture being banned.
It's not ready yet.
Gonna crash out.
We're just so
Marlon
excited to be
doing
playing
it.
for them to be
Manual
playing.
hand washing.
Good check in with the Twitch chat. Who do they think has this next game?
Yeah,
Oh,
what
and the
is up with the
predictions? A
Am I
lot of
allowed
impact
to
for
am
this
I
one.
allowed to gamble while I'm while I'm guessing?
I don't.
Wonderful. Gamba. I think I'm gonna put my money on Riot. They've
Your
definitely
money, your
proven
Twitch
themselves.
splits.
They've definitely proven themselves on this map before. I've played against them on this map. They're very, very good at kind of running that brawl, catching people out of position on this, especially in a very close quarters map like this. Gonna be very interesting to see what they have here. Okay, now they're ready.
Now entering King's Row.
Let me start this.
Initiating match.
Yeah, it's gonna be very interesting to see what they come out here. Riot on attack first, so they definitely have a small attacker's advantage. We'll see what they end up wanting to run here. Kaneki and Glupin coming in for the side of Impact, so I think they're probably gonna run a little bit of a slower backline. We'll see what they come out here on. Cosmo coming out on the Diva to start with. Resurrect on the Sojourn, and as we get a Wu Yang Ana backline here. Marlon looks like he's going to be starting out on the Queen here, as they're going to go with the same DPS line that they had previously. So I'm thinking there's
Ooh,
probably going to
please
be
tell me we get the Life Weaver. Oh, what a
Yeah.
debate. What a debate.
a man can wish.
I'm a little prejudiced. I love me a Life Weaver.
I know, the whole Lifeweaver BAP meta in OWCS had me glued to the screen.
Yeah.
Marlon switching over to the Diva. Bonkers starting out on this Widow, probably going to look for a couple of picks and then switching off of it. He immediately goes over to the Tracer. It's like a full dive setup from the side of Riot. Marlon going over, taking this high ground early. Cosmo's going to go in onto this Lucio. Dango going down rather early here. It looks like the rest of Riot are set up on that high ground, trying to flip the map here a little bit. So they're gonna have to try and wait on Dango to get back before they can engage. Getting a little bit of poking. Snapper's very, very low early. Cosmo's trying to find some pressure in. Marlon pressuring on the side of Impact's backline, falling very, very low here. Does end up getting out. Speedy ends up taking down Bluefin. But it looks like Riot's gonna end up taking this first fight and capping this first point here. So yeah, they just ended up flipping the map, and Impact kind of on the back foot early. Axar getting a last second touch in, ends up going down, as Riot is going to take this first objective. 5 minutes on their first timer. Oh, I thought he was actually switching to Doomfist for a second. I was going to get a little excited. Early pulls on the board here for Bonker. Marlon's going to go in, try and find a little bit of pressure here. This is just kind of sitting here with the Divas. Cosmo going in and coming back out. Same with Marlon. Pulse coming out here from Bonker. Doesn't end up finding anyone. As they kind of got him lined up into this corner here. Snappish ends up falling asleep here, forcing the recall out from Axar, but he does end up finding Bonker. As Marlon eats the pulse bomb from Axar, negating that completely, and Axar ends up going down. Marlon getting demexed as he goes down as well. Is kind of evening out the fight here from Riot. Bonker getting slept here, ends up forcing the recall, backing up a little. Cosmo trying to get some frontline presence established here as as Impact end up taking this fight, forcing Riot to reset here. Marlon coming in early, B coming out here from Dango. Looks like they're gonna try and find Lupin. They end up finding Lupin here. Wu Yangle coming out from Kaneki. Bomb coming out here from Kaz as he gets demech. Marlon ends up finding Marlon, but Marlon answers with a bomb of his own, demeching Kaz again. Resurrect kind of left out here on that high ground. Marlon's gonna pressure him out. Falling very low. Resurrect's probably gonna go there. No, he ends up getting out.
Feels good, huh?
Oh, as we get a pause, and it looks like a DC on the side of Impact here. So yeah, what do you think so far about this fight? It's kind of been back and forth so far.
Yeah, I think Loppin's had some insane sleep so far. Sleeping Bonker was great. I think if they would have counted that down a little better, they probably could have killed him. But left him alive. And I just don't know. I think it's a backline difference for me. I think the Ana Wu Yang is probably not ready for the dive to come in. But then again, the break did get banned, so it's really the best they could do in the moment.
Yeah, very, very back and forth. Very quick cap from Riot. And definitely has been extremely back and forth. As Glupin comes into the game, what's gonna suck about that is I think that they're gonna negate all of the ult charge. Because they're gonna
they will lose all their ult charge.
Completely lose that nano boost as we're gonna get back into this game here. Yeah, just completely negating all of that ult charge. That has to really sting on the side of Impact here. Because Riot, looks like Riot's gonna end up taking this point, adding some time. Axar ends up getting the last second touch, ends up going down, and Riot's gonna take this point. 4:21 on the clock for them. Speedy coming up to this high ground. Marlon, Bonker, and Snappish all in that mega room there. Cosmo looking to add some pressure onto Bonker. Falling very, very low. Ends up getting the nade to stay alive. Axar peeling for his backline, but it ends up being too late as Danko goes down early. Speedy ends up going down too. It's 3v5. Down goes Snappish as Marlon has to escape here. Demech at the last second. But it looks like he's gonna have to switch, and it's gonna negate that ult charge.
Yeah, that was a really good play by Kaz. He flew in and got Snappish extremely low while they took out Dango, and then was able to get that last minute demech.
early poking here. Kitsune coming out here from Snappers early. Is gonna find Resurrect. Anti coming out here from Gloopin is gonna get negated by that cleanse as well. Bonker ends up finding Axar. It's gonna be a 3v5 here for Riot. Resurrect coming around the corner. Gonna try and get as much poke as he can. Marlon in on the point. Stick coming out here is gonna find Gloopin. The Wu Yang ult coming out on the cause. They end up demecking Marlon and finding Snappish. As Impact's gonna be able to flip this here. Marlon ends up finding Resurrect, but it's all for naught, as Impact's gonna take this fight here. Bonker ends up finding Kaneki, is something Marlon resetting. Okay. I thought he fell. I was very close for a second. I'm trying not to like do player POV because I'm on my console right now. It's gonna like stick me onto it.
Yeah.
Marlon getting some early pressure here. Ends up falling down to half. Cause taking that high ground away from Speedy, but Marlon meets him up there. Marlon's still very, very low though, getting killed up by his Kiri. Cause still kind of just sitting up on that high ground though. Marlon going in on their backline. Speedy taking out the blade here is gonna find Gloopin as well as Resurrect. Pulse coming out from Axar gonna end up finding Snappish. B coming out here from Dango is gonna get 3. Cause ends up getting demech, but he's gonna use the bomb and try to remech here. As well as the bomb from Marlon. OC Nano coming out here from Impact. Not gonna find very much value though. Marlon ends up getting demech. As Impact are gonna push them back as much as they can. Marlon jumping off of the map to reset again. As it's gonna be another reset from Riot. Impact continuing to push them back as much as they can. Pulse and Kitsune coming up on the board from Riot. Is Impact only have the Wu Yang ult at this moment. Marlon ends up falling off of the map. This is gonna be another reset needed from Impact here.
Riot.
Oh, for Riot. My bad.
You're good.
Speedy ends up finding Axar. They're gonna push Impact back just a little bit here. Marlon ends up regrouping. Kitsune coming out here from Snappers. She's gonna push them back even further. Riango coming out from Kaneki. Bonker ends up finding Resurrect. And Marlon ends up finding Kaneki. Axar does end up finding Dango though, as they're down one support. Cosmo getting very, very low here. Gonna end up using that bomb. Doesn't find anybody, but he does get the remake. Overtime triggered here. Marlon ends up getting demeched. It's looking very, very dire here on the side of Riot here. Marlon ends up going down as well as Snappers. It's just Dango and Speedy left on the point. Bonker ends up going down to Resurrect. Blade coming out here from Speedy, gonna try and turn this around. But ends up getting waved back. Does find Axar and Gloopin though. Dango trying to stall for as long as he can, as overtime's gonna run out here.
Complete.
They're gonna push almost to the end, but not quite.
0.
Leaving the door open for Impact to win this map here.
Sides. Initiating match.
Yeah, I couldn't help but notice the ult difference between the two tanks there. I think that Kaz just ended up with a little bit better ult advantage. I think he had a couple more bombs than Marlon did. May have been the push off the map that Kaz did there, or just the number of times that Marlon got demeched comparatively. But I think that that's what saved them right there at the end, is Kaz being able to get remeched.
Yeah, definitely is. Marlon kind of staggering a little bit.
Yeah, them having to wait twice kind of hurt
Yeah.
them.
It's not very often that I've seen Marlon struggle, but it seems like he's struggling just a little bit here. The Impact are looking very, very good right now.
Do we get the Mercy?
Oh,
Of course not.
it looks like the same exact setup we're getting on both sides here. The Kaz on this Diva, Axar and Resurrect. Resurrect switching from the Soj over to this Genji, trying to go for more of a
One.
faster setup here.
Defend objective A.
Axar looking for the flank around the left side. Kaz heading down main, trying to get as much pressure on a Marlon as he can. Marlon kind of split off on both ends. He's going to end up falling back to his team. Recall coming out early from Axar. Marlon's going to end up finding Kaneki. Cleanse coming out here from Gloopin, keeping everybody alive. Bonker ends up going down to Axar. Snappish also going down. It looks like a lot of pressure coming out here from Impact. Lupin ends up going down to Marlon, but Marlon getting teammacked on the point and going down. This is just Speedy left on the point. As Impact, they're gonna take this point here. I think even faster than Riot did.
Yeah, that was crazy quick. They got that first early pick and it really just snowballed from there.
5:30 on the board for Impact. Marlon down on the low ground. They're gonna try and peel onto Kaz as Marlon kind of going in by himself. His team ends up grouping up with him. Recall coming out here from Bonker as he's kind of by himself at the point. Early pick coming out onto Axar. D-Mech coming out. But he's going to have that self-destruct for the remake here. Dango in, falls very low, but ends up falling back. Speedy and Bonker kind of in their backline. Resurrect ends up finding Bonker here. Clint's coming out here from Snappish to keep Speedy alive. They're going to kind of fall back here. 4v4 on the board. They end up giving up that space. This is Marlon getting demeched here. And it just kind of, yeah, once again, is Marlon getting demeched early and then it just kind of snowballing. It's every fight that I've seen, it's always just so much pressure coming on the side of Impact. And then Riot just cracking. And then end up snowballing from there. They're going to try and get back quickly here. Marlon taking that high ground. Speedy and Snappish on the low. Kaz ends up taking the high ground on the other end. Bonker finding Resurrect with that stick. Axar forced the recall here. Cosmo falling down low, but the cleanse coming out from Gloopin will keep him up, but it doesn't keep Gloopin himself up either. Cosmo ends up getting demeched. They're going to try and stagger him out a little bit here. Yeah, big stagger coming out on the side of Riot.
Went for that DMAX stagger, that was big.
Yeah, as a Diva main, I hate that.
Yeah.
It is just so...
It's a good strategy though. It takes up a lot of
Yeah.
time if you're a baby diva.
Impact looking to try and get... Early Kitsune coming out here from the side of Riot. They end up finding Kaneki. Blade coming out here from Speedy, gonna find Gloopin as well. Cosmo ends up getting demeched as well with the Blade. It's a huge Blade coming out here from Speedy. Resurrect
Yeah,
falling very
Kaneki
low.
was definitely the pick that they needed there. He had beat and he was ready to use it. And they killed him right before he could use it.
Yeah, Impact have 5 ults on the board. It's just a matter of time before they use them and end up taking this fight. Only 2 ults on the side of Impact with the bomb and the B. Hopefully the B will be enough to kind of negate what they have coming. Early Kitsune coming out here from Gloopin. Dango's going to end up using that beat. Finds 3 of his teammates. The counter beat coming out here from Kaneki is going to get all 5 of them as they continue to roll in. Dango ends up going down. Blade coming out here from Resurrect. Going to keep on moving. Doesn't end up finding anyone with it, but it's enough pressure to keep Riot out. Bonker ends up on the point by himself, and he's going to fall back into that mega room. As Riot are going to need to get a touch here rather quickly if they want to keep this checkpoint.
Nothing gets past me.
Bonker on the back end. Looks like he's gonna try and go for it. Marlon with the touch here. Lupin falling very low. Getting DM'd by his teammate. Clean's coming out here. Kaneki also very low. Marlon ends up getting mech, but he has the self-destruct to counter it. It ends up finding Axlar and Lupin. It looks like Riot are gonna end up taking this fight. Cosmo demeched. He's gonna get staggered out again. Oh, it looks like Bonker's gonna try and get the stagger out onto Resurrect as well, but Resurrect taking the mega. Gonna end up getting out here. Kaz ends up getting the remech and then demeched again using the bomb. He's by himself. One person on the point for impact. It looks like they didn't get the baby diva kill like they needed to. Marlon ends up getting demeched, and it looks like Riot and Impact are gonna end up taking this fight. Daniel very low. He's gonna end up going down. Kitsune coming out here from Snappish, but he's gonna go down as well. And not killing the baby diva really, Riot really paying the price.
Oh, that was crazy. Shows just how much you gotta kill that baby diva. You can't always stagger it.
Impact trying to get some pressure here. No ults on the side of Riot yet. Axar does have that pulse. Cosmo up here on this high ground. Speedy kind of pressuring him. Trying to pressure him off of it. B coming out here from Dango is gonna get this dive going in. Marlon all up in their face right now. He's gonna push them back as much as he can. Kaneki getting caught out a little bit, but he doesn't. He ends up getting out. Snappish ends up going down to Axar as Axar is still in their backline. Kitsune coming out. It's Kitsune and the Beat coming out from both supports here. Bomb coming out here from Marlon. Doesn't end up finding anybody, but he gets that remake. Kaneki on the point kind of by himself right now. Axar ends up finding Snappish as you still got that Tracer and Diva in your backline right now. Danko ends up going down, but Marlon finds Kaneki. He's still Marlon very strung out right now. Blade coming out here from Speedy, trying to find some value. Cosmo ends up finding Speedy, but it's just the Diva and the Tracer left on the field right now. Axar finds Snappish with the pulse. As Riot are gonna push Impact back. Cosmo with the D-Mech here. This time is a good idea to stagger the D-Mech.
Yeah. He didn't let him do it that time.
Cosmo gonna reset. We've got 30 seconds left on the board for Impact. Cosmo switching over to the ball, trying to get as much contest time as he can. Self-destruct soon to come up on the board here from Marlon. And Resurrect has that blade. Here comes the blade from Resurrect. Doesn't look like he's gonna end up finding anyone. Dango in the back ends up going down, but Kitsune coming out here from Snapper is gonna find Kaneki. Speedy ends up taking out Resurrect, but Resurrect ends up taking out Snapper's. Bomb coming out here from Marlon is gonna keep him in that mech. As the squish coming out here from Gloopin is gonna take him out as well, as it's just Kaz and Axar on the point again. Kaz ends up falling very low, ends up going down as Riot is gonna take this map.
Yeah, we knew this would be a close game right from the beginning. Just how that first control point went, them going back and forth so much. We knew it was gonna be a close game, and
Absolutely.
I'm here for it. Riot taking map 2.
Definitely very back and forth, especially at the end there. This is just the end of two people going down from Impact and 2 going down from Riot. It's just like, who's going to win this here? And it ends up going to the ult advantage here. Marlon with that self-destruct keeping him alive. It's just everybody, just too much pressure from the side of Riot here. But yeah, we're gonna go to another break as we're gonna get your third map coming up here. 1-1, a very entertaining game so far. And I'm very excited to see what we've got for these next couple of maps. Welcome back, Kaizen. We're gonna get into this third map here. Circuit's gonna be the pick. Bans coming out here for Impact banning the Symmetra and the Lucio, and Riot banning your stereotypical heroes that you play on this map, your Sigma and your Widow. So we're gonna get into this third map here. I'm very interested to see what comps they run here. It's a very flat map until you get to that third point, but taking out the Sigma and taking out that Widow kind of negates that poke here, so it's going to be very interesting to see what both sides run here.
Yeah, I think you nailed it right on the head when you said we'll probably see some ball comp here. If not ball, then maybe still the diva. Just something that can take that space. Both teams seem to like that divey in your face kind of comp.
Yeah, or I mean, maybe they could slow it down. We'll see. Very open space, very open sidelines. I think I'm expecting, with Mango coming in here for Speedy, I think we're probably going to see a hit scan coming out from him, as Riot might move away from this double flex. But yeah, we'll see. Marlon's starting out on this Queen, Bonker on the Mei with a Sojourn, Bat Brig. Very interesting.
Interesting.
Starting that.
And the Ram on the other side.
On that defense, yeah, the Ramatra from Cosmo. This Ramatra, a hero that very recently got nerfed into oblivion, but I think might be able to make it work here. I'm gonna go a little bit pokey here, using that Nemesis a little bit more defensively than.
Oh, that Queen swap. Marlon swapped off that Queen onto the Orisa.
Oh,
Only when I learned to accept the help I was offered.
you're kind of going for more of a pokey style as well here from Impact. Cosmo sticking with this Ramatra. Axar and the Genji. Resurrect coming out on Ashe with a very pokey backline here with the Vapuari. Cosmo taking this corner, popping up the shield. Marlon falling back a little bit. They're gonna try and play in the sightline a little bit here. So Marlon sitting up here, applying pressure. Impact's gonna take this height. Resurrect is gonna go down early to Bonker here. Slow coming out here, is gonna slow Bonker. Marlon going in, ends up finding Jade. He's really strung out right now. He's gonna find Kaneki as well. He ends up pushing the rest of them back. Very interesting here. Is kind of seeing Marlon go in almost by himself, but ends up finding value. 65% on the Arisol here. Impact trying to find what they can. Resurrect up on this high ground and try and poke as much as he can. Marlon falling down low. He ends up using that spear and that gold to get out. The Impact could capitalize on this though. Is Marlon kind of sitting here with no CDs? Dynamite coming out here is going to find the burn on the Marlon. Bonker falling down about half, but he's going to fly around that corner and get healed up. Marlon falling very low, but has that gold. Freeze coming out here from Bonker, gonna find Cosmo, but Lamp coming out here, gonna keep him alive for the moment, but the pressure ends up falling over.
Yeah, that was a big freeze. They took, looks like he froze 4.
Wow.
He had both supports, Ashe, and Riot, and the Ram.
Yeah, it's a huge ult coming out from Bonker there to try and negate all the push that they have. Impact very slowly coming up on these ults. They're gonna try and take this height here. Axar coming around this corner, trying to find as much poke as he can. Riot backing up from deflect coming out from Axar. Spear coming out hits Kaneki, but he's gonna get healed up with his team. Cosmo falling down onto the low ground. He's gonna try and poke as much as he can. Window coming out here from Snappish, but the blade coming out here from Axar is gonna find 2. He falls very low. He's gonna end up going down, but the Bob coming out here from Resurrect is gonna keep this pressure on. It is just Snappish and Marlon left. Looks like, yeah, Marlon trying to avoid getting the dagger here. Kaneki looking to finish him off. As Marlon's gonna get staggered here.
Big stagger.
Impact might be able to take this first point here. I was trying to keep up as much pressure as he can, making sure no one gets that touch. Yeah, Impact's gonna take this first point here. Nemesis coming out here from Cause. Trying to stay alive. Marlon has this Orisa ult. But Cause is going to go into this Nemesis form with the Annihilation. Doesn't find much value from it. Gets the Ilarial, ends up getting lamped, but Snappish does end up going down. Marlon going down as well. Mango finding the pick on an Axar, but it's all for naught as the rest of Riot are just going to fold to this pressure from Impact. Just running this brawl just very, very well. Like this kind of like pro brawl hybrid.
Yeah, I think Riot's really gotta lock in here. I think with that them having 3 ults on the board, they might be able to hold this right here.
Marlon going in with the window coming out here from Jade. Gonna try and get as much value as he can. The rally coming out here from Dango. Stun coming out here, but the lamp, he ends up finding Jade as well as the pylon and the lamp. Cosmo ends up going down to that OC as Riot's gonna end up flipping this here. Dango does get picked, but it's really all for naught. Marlon trying to find that stagger on the Resurrect here, but doesn't end up finding it. Riot's gonna be able to flip this here. Axar getting very close to that blade, as Resurrect also getting close to this. Jade ends up going down really early to that rail. This Impact are gonna have to reset here again. Bonker has that Blizzard Snappish coming very close to that window. Axar still has the blade. They're trying to find as much value as they can. Marlon using that spear to regroup with his team. Marlon takes out the pylon. Window coming out here from Snappish. The wall coming out here on Cause. Is they gonna be able to find him here? Blade coming out here from Axar. Dynamite's gonna end up finding him. And then the Bob coming out to kind of clean this up a little bit. Bonker does end up using the Blizz and finds 2, but it's all for naught. This is just Marlon that's left. And it looks like Riot are gonna lose this fight here. Impact is either going to cap this or they're gonna get very, very close to capping it. Somebody's gonna need to get a touch here rather quickly, but with how slow this comp is, it's gonna be very, very hard to do so. Yeah, Impact is gonna end up capturing the first point. Axar taking that height early just to make sure that Riot doesn't get there before they do. Dynamite coming out here. Mango ends up going down early. Marlon gonna try and drop back. Wall coming out here from Bonker to keep people alive. Kind of using it as a shield. Marlon gonna come up here and group with this team on this high ground. Impact kind of staying here on the low ground here. Marlon has that Orisa ult coming up on OC as well, but Riot also have that Captive Sun and the Annihilation. Here comes the Captive Sun here from Kaneki. Ends up finding Dango. Cosmo using that Annihilation, but gets absolutely shredded by Marlon. Marlon's gonna end up finding Kaneki and Jade. Bonker ends up finding Axar. So Riot are gonna end up taking this fight. About 1:20 left on this board, so Riot's gonna have to find something here. Cosmo switching over to that D.Va, trying to get some high ground. Riot have 3 ults on the board here, with Impact kind of having the 1. Wall coming out here from Bonker, doesn't really find anything. Spear coming out from Marlon. He's gonna get pressured back out. Lamp coming out here from Snappish, gonna keep him alive, but only for a second as Resurrect finds Snappish and Cosmo ends up picking off Marlon. Dango also going down. Bonker finds Resurrect, but he ends up going down as well as Mango. They're gonna have to get a touch really quickly here. Impact coming up here on this last fight here. Rally coming out here from Dango. Snappish with the window, but he's gonna end up going down to the blade from Axar. Cause falling very low. He's gonna end up getting demeched here. OC coming out here from Mango, but he goes down. As it looks like Impact's gonna be able to take this here. Very close fights on both ends.
Switching sides.
This is coming down to 6 seconds left with the cap. Riot's gonna need a full cap here in order to keep this game alive.
Now, when Kaz swapped to that Diva, do you think Marlon probably should have swapped off that Orisa?
Maybe, but I also think that they probably just needed to end up getting. I think, because they didn't really do what I had thought they would do. I thought Kaz was gonna switch over to that Diva to try and get some more high ground control, but I think he ended up playing low and he played fast. And I think that's kind of what messed up Marlon, is because the supports, as soon as that Orisa kind of gets separated from the team, it's very, very difficult to try and keep
I saw you training yesterday. Can I
keep your
give you a
backline
tip?
alive.
Sure.
Yeah.
Widen your stance. Might feel strange at first, but it keeps you balanced.
Yeah, Cosmo's switching over to this
thank you,
Orisa
Sojin.
here.
I'll try
Axar's
that
sticking
next
with the
time.
Genji, kind of sticking with the same composition that they had earlier. But switching over to the Orisa here.
We do have a Wu Yang on the Riot side.
Yeah, Dango switching over to that Wu Ying. Snappish sticking with the bat, probably trying to go a little bit pokey, trying to capitalize on the overpoweredness right now that is Wu Ying. Impact gonna set up on this high ground here. Not similar to what Riot was doing earlier. Early wave coming out, just gonna try and keep Marlon alive. Marlon trying to come up on this high ground here. Try and push that. Spear coming out doesn't really find anything. It's kind of getting into a little bit of a spat with Cause here. Snapper's setting up on that window to try and keep Marlon alive. Bonker pushing this payload here. Dango's gonna find Kaneki with the Wu Yang orb. Well, it looks like Riot are gonna continue to push this 4-5 on the board. Impact are gonna back up just a little bit to try and stay alive. Wall coming out here from Bonker is gonna separate Cause, but he does end up staying alive. They're gonna back up even more. Cause falling very, very low. Finding Resurrect and Cause and Jade. Marlon ends up going down to Axar, but Axar ends up going down as it looks like Riot are gonna take this first checkpoint.
Yeah, that was a big triple out of Mango on the Sojourn. Those 3 picks definitely turned the fight for them.
100%. Yeah, everybody falling low and then all the pressure just pushing Impact as far back as they could. Marlon gonna come around this corner, try and get as much poke down as he can. Spear coming out here, pushes Cause back ever so slightly. Dynamite coming out here, finds Marlon. Axar up on this high ground, try and pressure as much as he can from there. Wall coming out here from Bonker, here comes the freeze. Cause is still in that gold. Lamb coming out here is gonna find negate that Orisa ult. Cause ends up going down. Bob coming out here from Resurrect and trying to get, ends up finding Marlon. It's like Impact. Yeah, Impact are gonna take this here. Very interesting fight. Is the supports kind of staying alive in the back end with that Bob and just negating everything else. If Riot end up moving really fast here, I think they can capitalize on this separation right now. Cause ends up grouping back with his team. Marlon on the payload, getting as much progress as he can. Riot are gonna come together here. Gold coming out here from Cause, try and stick in that position. Here comes the Wu Yang ult from Dango. Onto
That was a good
Marlon.
combo.
They're gonna end up finding Cause. Mango finds Axar and Marlon finds Kaneki as they're gonna push them back all the way. It looks like they're gonna take the second checkpoint as well. Riot moving very quickly through these checkpoints. I'm a very big preacher of that Wu Yang Orisa combo. It's just like the pull in with the stun is just, it's a chef's kiss.
Yeah, that Wu Yang ult is very interesting, and I like the hero design of Wu Yang. It's fresh, it's new, it's something different.
Dango on this payload is gonna try and get as much as he can. Riot up on this high ground. They definitely have the advantage here. Axar pushing in, pushing them back just a little bit. Mango very low in the back end. Kaneki with this Orisa ult is gonna find the few. The Snappish ends up going down. The lamp from him goes down, but counter OC from Mango here. Marlon does go down, but Jade goes down to the OC as well. Mango ends up going down as well, as Impact are gonna clean this up and take that. 4 minutes left on the board for Impact though. This is definitely gonna be a huge factor in what they do here. Impact have 4 ults on the board, while Riot has 2 coming up on that Orisa ult as well. As Cosmo finds Mango early, as Riot are gonna have to reset that again. Marlon gonna move up on this high ground, falling about to half. Trying to play very conservative as they wait for that Sojourn to come back. Bonker using that wall as a shield so they can progress a little bit more. Marlon falling very low, has to use that gold to stay alive. Cosmo with the Orisa ult out. Gonna find Blaze, gonna find Snappish and Dango. The lamp kind of negated the Orisa ult. Flipping around. Bonker's gonna end up going down, and Mango is too low to end up going back in. It looks like Impact are gonna take this fight as well. Same kind of thing though. You've got those supports kind of strung out left. If Riot go really quickly here, I think they can make a lot of progress.
They definitely have the ult advantage here as well, with the Orisa ult and both support ults.
Cause setting up on this back high ground. They try and set up his setup. Try and get some poke down. Just forcing Riot to try and move all the way across 4-man. Axar trying to meet them. Axar and Cause trying to meet them there. Both spinnies coming out here from both sides. Window coming out here from Snappish is going to try and find as much as he can. Axar ends up going down to Dango. Lamp coming out here from Snappish from both ends, really. Kaneki ends up finding Snappish as Cause is going to go down as well as Kaneki. Resurrect and Jade end up being the only 2 left. Walker does go down on the side, and Dango go down on the side of Impact. They're very close to this objective though. Cause switching over to this D.Va and try and get some fast high ground control. Marlon has this D.Va ult, and they have that Wu Yang ult as well. They're all kind of set up on this high ground right here, kind of negating Marlon just pushing in. Marlon falling down to about half, but he's gonna stay behind cover, get healed up as much as he can. Bonker going up to this high ground, trying to 1v1 Axar here. Axar kind of ends up kind of winning that and forcing Bonker to drop back. Cause sitting on this payload. Marlon's gonna push in just a little bit. Try and apply as much pressure as he can. Throws the spear, gets eaten by Cause. Axar ends up taking a Bonker in the back end. Here comes the Orisa to D.Va as Resurrect gets stunned, but the lamp kind of keeping him alive there. Kaneki finds Mango with the sun. Snapper's gonna end up going down to bottom. This Impact really kind of setting the tone here for this defense. Marlon switching over to the Hazard, gonna try and get some more speed. Let's see what Riot can do here. Window very close to coming online for Jade, but Mango has that overclock. Let's hopefully try and get some value with it. Impact definitely have the ult advantage here. Marlon making sure his team's over the OC coming out from Mango. Window coming out here from Jade. Marlon's gonna use that wall, try and negate as much as he can. Cause with the bomb here does end up finding Marlon, who tried to block it. But he was just too low to try and negate that damage. 5 seconds left. Riot are gonna have to get a touch here as Mango does get a touch, but it's too little too late. As Impact are gonna take this 3rd map. A very good showing from both ends. Just Riot just getting too little value too late.
Both teams pushed through point 1 and point 2 very quickly. It really came down to point 3 for both of them.
I think Impact switching over to that D.Va and getting that high ground control definitely made a very clear difference within that comp. Yeah, we're gonna go to another break and we'll get you your fourth map here. This is 2-1 Impact right now. Going into map 4. So welcome back. We're gonna get into this map for Impact up 2-1 at this point. We're gonna head over to Esperanza on Riot's pick. Bans coming out here. It's gonna be a ball ban and a Wu Yang ban on the side of Riot. Which is very interesting because I think Riot's been the only team that I've seen play Wu Yang so far. And then a Genji and Kiri ban from the side of Impact, trying to negate as much dive as they can. As Riot, it's gonna be interesting to see what Riot come out here. Get an R from Jordan. We're gonna get in map.
Yeah, I don't hate the Genji Kiri ban personally. I think that, you know, Impact can play without it. They're not counting on it. And I think they'll just put Axstar back on the Tracer.
Yeah, I agree with that. This is gonna be interesting to see what both hit scans come out on though, as we saw the Sojourn from both sides last map. Is definitely going to be able to take that high ground. I'm also interested to see what backlines they come out with that Kiri ban. They might see maybe like a Lucio, maybe a Lucio Baptiste, maybe a maybe on a brick. I doubt that would happen, but it might. Yeah, very.
I wouldn't hate that. We haven't seen the Brig yet. We've only seen the Ana once. Let's do it. Let's do it.
Ready for battle.
Looks like it's gonna be
Oh.
straight up brawl from the side of Riot with that Venture, the Malga, and the Cassidy, the Juno.
Brig and Juno.
And then kind of a brawl rush, or like a rush dive hybrid from Impact with that Lucio Bap.
3, 2,
Gonna get into this here. Gonna be very interesting to see this. Cause going for that straight counter against that Malga. And we'll see how much that ends up negating. Marlon's gonna go straight for the point here with the rest of his team. Juno kind of falling back. Mango is gonna end up going down. That Riot already down one before the fight really even starts. Dango ends up getting rushed on. Stop ends up finding Axar, but Bonker also finds Jade. Lamb coming out here, gonna keep Cosmo alive briefly. It looks like Riot's gonna end up taking this, even after the early pick.
Yeah, that was a good first fight. I did not expect it to go that way, seeing the Diva against the Malga. But they played that very well. That first early pick was big.
Yeah, Marlon kind of peeling as much as if you can really peel on a Malga. But Marlon ending up coming for that peel. Mango going very low very early, but Bonker ends up finding Axum. Riot coming to group up on this high ground. Kaneki ends up going down to Bonker as well. Bonker just asserting as much dominance as he can on this Venture right now. Speedring coming out is going to push Marlon up a little bit, just trying to push Impact back as much as possible. Resurrect falling low is going to slide out back to his team. Cosmo around that corner, waiting to get that heal up. This Riot looks like they're going to take this first checkpoint here. Cos coming up to this high ground, going to try and find a pick early. Mango falling very low, does end up going down to Resurrect. OC coming out here from Resurrect, gotta find Snappers. Dango ends up finding Axar. Dango going down to Cosmo. It's just gonna be the Venture left from the side of Riot. Try and get out here or stall the card as much as they can. Walker does find Resurrect, but it's all for naught, as Riot's gonna have to reset here. Did they cap? I don't think they capped the first point.
Let's make some progress.
Very, very good fight from
Just
Impact
shy
to
of
try and
it.
prevent that. Marlon coming up here trying to contest the push spot here. Axar coming up from behind is going to end up collapsing onto Mango again. Venture ult coming out here from Bonker. He's going to find Axar. But Dango and Snappish, both supports on the side of Riot, are down. As it's pretty much just as Marlon, just now noticing, Marlon pushed the bot all the way over and has capped the first objective. Huge progress here from Marlon. They're not gonna get that forward spawn, but they're gonna be able to regroup faster. Nope, Marlon does get that forward spawn. I stand corrected.
Disruption activate.
But yeah, that was an absolutely massive push by Marlon here to get that forward spawn. And he's gonna be able to regroup faster with his team. Marlon goes in here, ends up using the cage right on Cosmo's head, but Jade using that beat, fighting in the cage. Lamp coming out here. Cosmo's gonna use that bomb to stay alive, but Bonker ends up finding Cos before he can remech. Snappish ends up finding Kaneki. Dango on this point. They're gonna end up retaking that. Bonker finds Axar as well. Riot looking very, very good on this brawl comp.
Yeah, Bonker's kind of going crazy on the venture right now.
I'm not a surprise that they ended up banning that on King's Row, but yeah, Bonker just asserting so much dominance on this venture right now.
Barricades on the move.
Activating that forward spawn. Ring coming out here, getting Snappish over. Snappish is very, very low though. Stomp coming out here from Marlon. They're gonna end up finding Snappish, but he does end up getting the ult off before he dies. Marlon coming in here is gonna get the stomp onto Jade and Resurrect. Very low. Slide behind cover. Cause ends up going down. As it looks like Riot are gonna keep on trucking at this point. Marlon ends up finding Resurrect for a huge stagger, and Jade is caught out as well, but he's gonna end up moving back over to his team, causing switching over to this Orisa, trying to negate some of the space created by Marlon.
I'm really feeling the heat.
Cause pushing in, throws the spear, doesn't find anything. Marlon on this point by himself. High Noon coming out here from Mango. Gonna get shielded off by Dango, but they're gonna end up falling behind that corner. Mango ends up popping the shot off at Cause, but he's gonna find covers just in time. Spear coming out does hit Dango. As they're gonna just kind of hold that corner and end up pushing back Riot as much as they can. Axar falling down to about half. Marlon pushing in here. Let's end up finding Axar. As they're gonna win this fight as well. Absolutely dominating here on push. Cause goes down late. Marlon gonna keep on pushing in to try and hold as much as he can. As Riot are in line to get this full cap. Marlon gonna cage here to try and prevent touching. Gonna get very close. They do end up getting the touch here. Jada and Cause on the point. OC coming out here from Resurrect. Bonker using the Ventral, but does get taken out by Resurrect. Snappish taking out Resurrect himself though. Cause using that Orisa ult, but doesn't find anything. Mango ends up going down though. But Mango finds Axar. Cause is still very low here. Anti-heal going out onto Marlon, trying to gate that. Resurrect does find Marlon. Beat coming out here a little bit late, but securing this for impact here. Yeah, Riot will get this forward spawn, so they will be able to contest this before they hit that midpoint. They are very, very, very capping this right.
Yeah, that was a must-win fight for Impact, and they did it.
Dango has this rally. Mango has that high noon as well. But the nano boost online. Resurrect finds Snappish early. But Bonker and Mango finding two picks of their own. Jade very, very low, and then Oz very low. I mean, these supports in a corner unable to help Cause. Riot getting that team kill. Snappish falling a little behind. Doesn't have this forward spawn, neither does Bonker. So it's gonna be possibly a 3v2 for this next, or a 3v5 for this next fight. Dango, Mango, and Marlon kind of holding back, waiting for their Juno and their Venture to regroup with them. Bonker comes back to his team. Axar falling down to half, but Resurrect takes out Mango early. Riot are going to need to drop back a little bit here. Marlon ends up falling. Dango kind of split as well. He's going to end up going down. big staggers coming out here from the side of Impact. They might be able to cap to this forward spawn before everybody else nope, okay. So they end up getting this forward spawn. Gonna be able to contest rather quickly here. 3 ults from the side of Impact, about to be 4, with almost 5 ults from the side of Riot here. Cause going in. Anti coming out onto Marley. But Bonker finds Kaneki. Cause does go down early though. Marley gonna keep on pushing. Already got coming here, just keeping Marlon alive. Resurrect does go down. Riot are gonna push this, try and push this as far as they can. Cause switching over to mirror this Malga. 4 ults from both sides here. Ventral coming out from Bonker to try and find what he can. Kaneki goes down really early. Ray coming out from the side of Snappish. Mango does find Axar. Dango finds Resurrect. As Impact are all falling, and it's just Kaneki left. As they're gonna try it, I think they're gonna push this to the end here. And there it is. As Riot are gonna take this map and bring it to 2-2 going into map 5. Riot just absolutely dominating on this map. Bonker just asserting himself on this venture right now.
Yeah, that looked like a completely different team that map than what we've been seeing. That was very, very good. They all played very together. And Bonker just getting those early picks every fight kind of changed the fight.
Yeah, from what I saw, like that Malga and the Venture and like that straight up brawl, that is definitely their bread and butter. And they definitely established that. And they definitely Bonker especially, because I feel like Bonker was definitely a little quiet there in the beginning, but definitely made his presence known on that map.
Yeah, and I think that it definitely shows it impacted their research banning that venture out on King's Row, because they didn't want to deal with what they just dealt with right there. That's for sure.
100%. But yeah, it's going to be. We're gonna go to a break as we're gonna get you your map 5 here, 2-2, kind of evening out the board here. Very interesting to see this as we're gonna head into our map 5 here soon. Welcome back, Kaizen. We're gonna get into our map 5 as it's tied up 2-2, right? Taking the last map. I'm gonna make sure that I banned everything. But while we are here, I want to go ahead and give a congratulations to SCR Needs Bastion, our tier 2 console champions. They just wrapped up their game. They banned Rig.
So we get a congrats on our soundboard, right? Or a cheer. There you go. There you
Yeah.
go. That's better. There you go.
We're gonna, yeah, congratulations to
Ring,
SCR
ring,
Needs
ring,
Bastion.
ring, ring, banana phone.
Yeah, our tier 2 console champions. 'Cause we're gonna get into our map 5 here.
The bans here are Mauga and Venture from the side of Impact.
Obviously, right? I was just kind of seeing the dominance from Marlon and Bonker on those two characters. You kind of have to ban those out. Yeah, and then on the side of Riot, we get a Tracer Brig ban. They're trying to negate what's strong. It's gonna be very interesting to see what they come out on here.
Ready for battle.
I don't think Marlon's gonna start out on this Doomfist, but we will see.
Best sword master.
I have accidentally put myself into player POV, and we're gonna try and stick with this, or make this work.
Just I could hope. They've already debated me on his life leaver pick once already too, so
Yep.
yeah, there it
switching over
is. Back to the Kiri.
at the last second. Bonker coming out on the Sombra Genji.
One.
Is Impact going for more of a brawl-based double flex?
Mark
With Riot a little bit more speed. Finny
I think the
on
Genji
this
Sombra could
main.
definitely work.
Marlon gonna come up here and take this high ground. Just try and get as much pressure as possible from the side of Impact. Riot kind of sitting up on this high ground. Hack coming out on the Kaneki. It's not gonna find anything. Marlon getting very low. Doesn't getting out of mech quite yet. Yeah, Marlon getting out of mech now. So Jade's gonna be very low here. Does end up getting out. Bonker coming. Yep, as Impact are gonna take this first fight. Okay, I think I'm going to leave. Can someone like re-invite me? Because I got stuck in player POV and I hate it. Quickly, help.
I'm doing it. I'm doing it. No, I don't got that.
Uh-oh. Technical difficulties.
Okay, while Redacted's
Yeah.
gone, we have Resurrect on the Genji here. Looks like Riot is going to take this fight. But not without taking out Speedy first before flipping the point. Marwin's already built up bomb. Kitsune coming out from Kaneki.
Faking me out.
No, you're gonna have to friend me, I guess. I don't think I have you friended. I thought so, but I can't find you.
Bomb coming out from Marwin. Finny uses freeze. Somber ult coming out from Bonker. And a big beat from Mr. J. Blade coming out from Speedy. See if he can get anybody. Not before Finny takes him out.
Cast your DC. Let's go.
Yeah, I'm gonna invite you back real quick.
Okay.
Appreciate it. Yeah, I've been trying to invite him, but I don't see him on my friend list anywhere.
Oh, I don't either. Uh-oh.
Oh, I'm appearing offline. I just remembered.
Bro. Redacted scuffing you guys' game. Sorry about that.
Okay, there I am.
Oh, Redacted started playing.
Okay,
There
now
he is.
now invite him.
Sorry guys, I'm trying to.
Vinny falling
I was
low?
trying to duck people the other night. Alright. Your caster is now back. He's 99 to 99 on this point here. Marlon very low. Vinny ends up taking out Snappish. Marlon's still very, very low on this point. He does end up finding Kaneki. Resurrect fighting Speedy here. Riot's gonna, or Impact's gonna flip this point here. Pack coming out onto Cosmo. They're gonna slow him down ever so slightly. Bunker up on this high ground. He's gonna try and get a recontest. Tango ends up going down as well as Bunker. Impact's gonna take this first point here.
Next flashpoint.
Gotta make sure I don't hit any buttons on the D-pad. Absolutely scuff it again. Gonna go to this next point here. Impact beating them to the bunny. Marlon has this bomb. Wall coming out from Finny. They're gonna jump onto Marlon. He doesn't make any D-Mac, but using that bomb to try and get this recontest. Freeze coming out from Finny. Squish ends up finding Resurrect, but Marlon does get frozen D-Mac again. Wall coming out here from Finny. Marlon's gonna end up going down here. Kaneki is very, very low on the point. Does go down to Dango. Dango, or as Jade, kind of getting out of position there and ends up going down to Speedy. Finny caught in a corner and ends up going down as well as but Dango ends up going down on a sphere. Resurrect ends up taking out Speedy. Cause very, very low on the point here. Is gonna end up down to just trading back and forth. Resurrect ends up finding Snappers as well, and it's kind of a 3v1 right now with Marlon. Marlon gonna back out of this point, falling very, very low, and does end up getting D-Mac'd. They're gonna have to reset here. Marlon walking back over to spawn to try and get that D.Va mech back.
Yeah, Bonker's on this flank though with EMP. I think they're probably gonna try to play around that. Wait for him to go in, EMP the group, and push on that is probably the smartest play here.
Marlon in on the point here. Spear coming out from Cause, does get 8. EMP Fat gets everybody, but Vinny ends up taking out Bonker as it kind of just negates the EMP completely. Resurrect finding Dango. Marlon falling very low on this point here. As it looks like Impact is going to take the second point here as well. Bonker's switching over to Samara here, trying to play against that lack of a hit scan that they have.
Palace.
We must reach our next objective.
Impact leading him on this point. Marlon jumping in, trying to make some space here. Beat coming out from Jade. As Resurrect's gonna use this blade, but the beat also coming out here from Dango. Speedy ends up using a blade of his own. Kaneki coming out here with that Kitsune. Speedy does end up finding Kaneki. Bonker on this far, trying to get as much as he can. Marlon does end up going down, but Speedy finding Finny and Cosmo. As this is just gonna end up being Resurrect on this point by himself, and he goes down as well.
Time to accelerate.
Be careful, Shinaba.
I'm trying to find something. There we go. Okay, I figured it out. Cosmo going in earlier. Kitsune coming out here from Snappish. Bonker's still kind of spamming in a corner here. Putting down a lot of damage right now. Freeze coming out here from Finny. doesn't end up finding anybody as Resurrect ends up going down. Cleanse coming out here to keep Marlon alive. The Snappers end up paying for it. Marlon ends up finding Jade with that wall. This is just kind of Cosmo and Finny on this, sitting around here. It's like Riot's gonna end up taking this next objective. No ults on either side. Dango, Bonker, and Speedy coming close to their ult. Resurrect coming very close. So as we're gonna get the Finny Torb here, the signature hero from Finny himself. Cosmo also switching over to this defense. The turret ends up going down early. B coming out here from Dango is gonna push all of Riot in. They're gonna end up taking the space over here. Cosmo trying to take back what he can. Finny laying that turret down, trying to negate any push that they have. Resurrect ends up finding Snappers early as Cosmo ends up finding Speedy. Kitsune coming out here from Kaneki. As the Impact are gonna end up taking this fight.
Just as it has been this entire time, and I guess it will continue to be.
Nope, you cut out. It seems we may have lost bacon here for a brief second. Ultimates on the side of Bonker and Speedy. The Resurrect with his high noon. Cosmo coming very close to the spawn with Jade and Speed. Early Blade coming out here from Speedy. They're gonna find that turret and Resurrect. Speedy kind of slicing up Cosmo, causing him to fall very, very low. This Riot is gonna flip this point here. Bonker kind of spamming out what he can. This looks like
Alright,
three.
you hear me?
Yep, there you are.
There we go. Here I am.
Yeah, almost 4 ults. Early Hazel coming out from Marlon. Does end up getting cleansed out and completely negated. Torb turn going down. This Riot's gonna recoup back on this point. Cause falling very, very low, but finding Bonker. Bomb coming out here from Cause and try and get that remake. Ends up finding Marlon as he's jumping in. Dango's gonna end up going down to that turret as well as Speedy. This Impact is gonna flip this point. And Riot is gonna need to find something quickly here. As Impact are finding this point. This Finny picking that turret perk, just kind of setting that turret up on that pole, getting as much poke as he can. That is a very interesting spot, getting Bonker down to half before he ends up taking that turret down, but that slows him down. It's going to be difficult for him to come up on this point. Kitsune coming out here from Snappish. Molten Core coming out here from Benny. Gonna negate that space right there. Bonker kind of in a corner by himself. Gets that ult completely negated by Cosmo, but Dango ends up winning that Lucio 1v1 and finds Jade. Cos getting demacked. Snappers is going to end up going down, but Kaneki has that Kitsune again. Dango with a beat to keep Marlon up. Kaneki using that TP, getting to the other end, but gets caught out by Marlon. Dango very, very low here. Ends up getting knocked by Resurrect. As the Hazel coming out here is going to find two. As Riot in the second. They're going to go to a 5th point here.
And why wouldn't it? This whole entire series has been so back-to-back between both of these teams.
Kaneki switching over to that Baptiste, trying to go a little bit slower here. Riot's gonna end up beating them over the point here. Bonker kind of spamming out, getting Resurrect low. Cosmo falling down to half, but the wall coming out from Marlon. Turn up on the wall, getting some poke down. Bonker on the other side, though, getting expand. Blade coming out here from Speedy's. Gonna get Vinny down very low, but the lamp coming out, keeping him alive. Ends up finding Resurrected instead. Vinny's still very, very low here. Doesn't Speedy, but the boot coming out from Jade ends up killing Speedy. Dango does go down from the side of Riot, but it looks like Riot are going to be able to... Uh-oh. Was that just me? What the heck just happened?
That was weird.
What the heck just happened?
Initiating match.
As it seems like we're gonna get a map restart here. I mean, same map, same bands. We're just gonna completely restart this.
Server closed or something.
Yeah, the server closed just unexpectedly. As we're as it comes down to the last point, we're gonna get a complete map restart. We're gonna go ahead and get a pause. I don't have it. I mean, we have the tournament manager.
Yeah, I mean, it would have to be our map restart. That's the only fair way to do it. Because it was tied 2-2, so it's not like we can just give it to either team. It's got to be a map restart.
Yeah.
Man, talk about being in the right place at the right time. Look at me.
Yeah. Wow, that is definitely a first. I mean, even in my almost year experience of being in leagues, I've never seen that happen in a match. That's insane. Wow. Or, I mean, we would go to a map 8, but potentially.
I mean, if they would rather draw this map and move on, that's fine. I don't, but I just feel like a map restart's probably the easiest.
I'm gonna get some more water real quick while we're in this limbo. Alright, I'm back.
Okay.
I'm waiting on word from Impact before we can get this restarted. Appreciate it. That's absolutely crazy. Yeah, we get an R from Impact as we're gonna completely restart this map from scratch. And it looks like Riot's gonna switch up their comp a little bit, opting for a ball comp instead of what they were running previously. Riot sticking with what they know, sticking with this Hasfara, Genji, Lucury. It's gonna be interesting to see how they adjust to this new comp from Impact.
Initial flashpoint. Market.
Cosmo getting over to this point early. Gonna jump up on this high ground, try and look for a slam. Snappish ends up getting Snappish off of the height. The Sombra from Finny ends up pushing the Pharah back. As Bonker ends up finding Finny on that high ground. Kaneki very, very low in the back end. Ends up using the TP, but it's all for naught as Marlon ends up catching him out. Cosmo ends up finding Bonker. Resurrect falling very low, ends up getting found by Marlon. But Riot forced to reset here.
Did I scare you?
That party was boring.
Impact trying to get set up for a little bit of a dive here. Resurrect trying to get as much poke damage as he can. Virus coming out onto Marlon. Walls off Resurrect. The rest of the team. Jade falling very, very low, but go looking for that Mega on the low end. Bonker and Snappish end up finding Finny and Kaneki. Cosmo does find Bonker though. Slamming down, looking for Dango here. Jade falling very low though, does end up escaping, and it looks like it's gonna be an 100-0 from Riot out of the game.
I am restored.
Somebody's gonna have to get a touch here. As Jade ends up getting the touch, and does end up escaping. Cause on this point. Bonker does get found by Finny now on the Sojourn here. Marlon with the Hazel finds Kaneki, Speedy finding Finny. Cosmo does find Snappish in the back end though. As it's Jade, Resurrect, and Cause on this point against Dango, Speedy, and Marlon. Cause going up in the air. Jade falls very low, does get found by Marlon. As Riot is going to take this first point here. No ults from either end other than Marlon. Riot about to come online with 4 of them. Kaneki switching from the Kiri over to this Baptiste now. Resurrect coming.
Makes you wonder if that comp swap for them really was worth it.
Yeah. So Resurrect switching over to the Cassidy now. Where they're gonna opt for a double hit scan with this ball. Let's say the way you want to probably play this is look for slams and see if your hit scans can't get a pick off. Jay's setting up on this over on the other side. Resurrect does end up finding Speedy rather early. Snappish ends up going down as well, but Marlon kind of in their back line, taking out Resurrect. Finny ends up having to slide out, but Kaneki goes down to Dango. Finny takes him out in kind. Bonker kind of stuck in this room with the ball and hits himself with a rocket and ends up going down. So Impact's going to take the first cap. Kind of setting up for the way that I predicted, looking for slams and letting your hit scans kind of get the picks. But that kind of just really, the only issue with that is you kind of just leave your ball stranded. Marlon setting up on this point, drops the walls. They can't contest yet. Hazardal coming out from Marlon, doesn't find anyone. Mines coming out here from Cosmo all over this point here. Resurrect finds Bonker early. Finny's gonna try and play over here on this point. Resurrect finds Speedy. Marlon kind of left by himself on this point. Ends up falling. Snappish ends up going down as well. So yeah, the cast switch really proving well for Impact here. 4 ults online for the side of Impact, 3 for the side of Riot. This Blade, this Beat, and this Kitsune.
I think if I had to gamble on it, I think we're gonna see a Kitsune Beat or a Kitsune Blade right now.
Yeah. Cosmo trying to get a little bit of a flank going. Riot gonna try and put this point. Kitsune coming out from the side of Riot, but the window coming out here from Impact. Cat coming out onto Finny as they're gonna find him strung out. Speedy falling very low. Does end up using the lamp and gets pushed off by Marlon. As Resurrect and Cosmo finding Speedy and Bonker. Marlon finding Kaneki though. Cosmo's kind of left on this point by himself on this ball. Riot do end up flipping it. High Noon coming out from Resurrect, but kind of negated by the beat. Marlon takes him out before he can get a shot off. Cosmo ends up going down as well as Riot taking this point as well. Sitting on the point by himself, doesn't getting taken out by Speedy, as I don't think Impact are gonna get a touch here. Riot going up 2-0 early now. Cosmos switching over to this Hazard. They're sticking with the double hit scan here with that Baptiste. They have a beat and they have that OC. Speedy has that Blade Dome coming up on that Hazard.
Catch you later.
Riot gonna beat Impact over the point. The Impact are gonna look and try and get an engage. Early beat coming out from Jade as they're coming on the engage, speeding in, caught out. He's gonna end up escaping. Hinder coming out as Resurrect ends up finding him. But Marlon taking out Kaneki, but it seems to be all for naught as Impact have won this fight and they're gonna take the point.
I'm on my game now.
Let's see how Impact want to set up the defense here.
Impact is definitely going to have a pretty heavy hold here, being down 2-0 for sure. They're going to have to hold this and take the next two. I think ult management will come into play, and they'll really have to make sure that they're managing them appropriately.
Definitely. Starting off on the back foot early. Cosmo going in for an early dive. Hazel coming out from Marlon, doesn't find anyone. But Snappish taking out Jade and Marlon taking out Finny. Lamp goes down from the side of Impact. Cause goes down as well, and Riot's gonna get this flip. Finny holding on to this OC, trying to find an opportunity to use it. Kind of switching back over to this Kiriko. Resurrect coming close to this Cassidy ult. They're gonna need to find something quickly here, because they're down. They're gonna have to find this. EMP from the side of Bonker, probably gonna look to negate an ultimate from the side of Impact. Impact going for a long rotation, gonna try and flip the map on Riot. Wall coming out here from Cause, they're gonna try and beeline it for this point here. Because the Resurrect ends up going down really early. OC coming out here from Vinny, but he ends up going down. As Riot just asserting dominance here right now. Cause gets hacked and ends up going down as they hopefully can get a touch and one more fight here, but it's Riot are really in the driver's seat. Ult's coming out here is gonna all but seal it here as Riot taking this 3-0 after the restart. Absolutely insane.
After the Mauga Venture ban, that is not the way that I would have thought that was going to go.
Absolutely not. Yeah, the restart kind of just throwing Impact through a loop. As yeah, we're gonna go to a break, and as we're gonna get you to our map 6. Riot in the driver's seat with a 3-2 lead. So welcome back, Kaizen. Hopefully we're not going to get any server crashes this round. We're going to go into a map 6 here. Riot up 3-2. Match point for them. This is going to be Riot on attack first, Impact defending. Spans, we've got Juno Kiri on the side of Impact with Sigma Widow on the side of Riot. Kind of, again, taking out those stereotypical players for Havana here. That's gonna be the map that we're headed to. But yeah, what are we thinking here from the side of Riot? I think they're gonna go back over to that Malga Venture comp.
I mean, for me, I would. Like how well it worked last time, I think I would push that again. Might be a little harder to do on point 1 here, but point 2 would be very easy, and point 3, I think they could pull it off as well.
Yeah, I definitely would try and lean into that. As that kind of dominated the last time they played. Marlon gonna start on this hazard. Bonker on the Hanzo to start off with. Speedy on this Genji. Dango and
See,
Snappers, we got a
I wouldn't believe it till I see it. That Hanzo might just be for an early pick.
Yeah, either that or a Sonic Air to see what people are playing. Cosmo gonna start out on the Ramatra again. This didn't really work well for him last time. See if he can make it work this time here. Axlar on this Genji, Resurrect on the Ashe as they're gonna play a Bap Zen backline, trying to negate as much dive as they can. Riot switching it up. Bonker's gonna go onto this Venture here. It's gonna be an Ana Lucio backline. Bonker coming around from the right side with Speedy. Marlon's gonna jump in and join his DPS in that room over there. The Snappish playing back. Bonker attempting to take the high ground but ends up missing. Cosmo using that Nemesis early is gonna drop back a little bit. Riot are just kind of taking the space right now. Bonker moving in on that dig. He's gonna try and go for the Zenyatta here. Ends up moving over to that high ground, but Marlon finds the Zenyatta here. Marlon falling very, very low, does end up going down, but Speedy ends up catching Resurrect on the reset. Is Riot are gonna end up taking this first fight? It's just Cosmo left on this point by himself. He ends up going down and staggering a little bit, and it looks like Riot are gonna end up taking this first point rather quickly.
The payload has reached the checkpoint.
Cosmo's switching over to this Orisa, trying to go for a more anti-dive. Jade switching over to the Wu Yang here. Axar also switching it up, going over to this Tracer here. Marlon burning. He's gonna miss that jump a little bit. Wall coming out separates Cos from his team. He's gonna fall very low here, but the lamp from Finny is gonna keep him alive. Marlon coming in. He's gonna find that wall in the Cos, separate him off a little bit more. Ult coming out, keeping him alive. Marlon resetting over. Cosmo finds Speedy. As Bonker and Dango are going to find Finny and Axar in the back end, but Resurrect finds Bonker, resetting. The 3v2 situation here. Nano coming out onto Marlon is going to try and make a play here. Resurrect falling onto the low ground, but does end up getting picked off by Marlon. Marlon continuing to run in, finds Jade, as pops that wall down, separating Cos. But Marlon kind of shoved into a corner here, into the enemy team. He's gonna end up falling here. It's gonna be a 3-on-3 for Impact here. Cos running up on this high ground, trying to negate her on that right side. It looks like Impact's gonna continue to defend this here. Cos running up on this high ground. He's gonna try and get as much poke down into this room as he can. Early Hazel coming out here from Marlon. Doesn't end up finding anything. Coming out is gonna separate Cos. They're gonna rotate around and try and negate that wall. Cos falling down to half. Gonna regroup with the team. Axar finds Speedy. It's gonna be a 45 now. Bonker coming in. He's gonna use that venture ult. Find Jade and Finny. Marlon's gonna find Resurrect in the back end. The Axar kind of up in that front. It's gonna go down to Marlon. Cod finds, but it's all for Nada's call. Gonna end up going down. Looks like Riot are gonna push over into the.
And that's gotta feel bad for Impact there, dying with 5 ults.
Yeah, 100%. Maybe they can get a touch here. Nope, because Riot's gonna end up capping this. But yeah, 5 ults from the side of Impact, and just 2 on the side of Riot. That Blade and that B. They don't really have any ults to negate that, so if Riot wants to like speed in with that beat and Blade, they might have an opportunity for a big play here. Marlon kind of poking out right now. He's playing this long sight line, trying to get as much cart progress as he can. Wall comes out early. Spear comes out, pushes Marlon back ever so slightly. Resurrect takes out Bonker. All kind of all up on their back line. Bench. Wu Yang ult coming out here from Jade. They're gonna end up finding and winning this fight here.
Yeah, winning that fight for only 1 ult is good. That's very, very good ult rotation for them.
Absolutely, and you keep the other 4. And then now it's going to be a 3 ult versus 4 ult kind of situation. But again, like I said, if they want to go for this Blade beat, could get a lot of value. Nano coming out here. Here comes the Blade. They're going to find Finny, but Cause is going to try and pull them in. Bob ends up finding Snappish. Cause falling very low, but Bob is going to end up finding Marlon too. They're not pushing the cart right now. Yeah, now they get on the cart here. Axar dropping back. Riot kind of pushing this cart very slowly. Marlon on his way back to Snappish. Snappish getting an angle on that back end. They're going to try and set up another engagement here. Cause switching over to mirror this hazard. Dynamite coming out, hits Speedy and Marlon. Wall coming out from Marlon, trying to negate that sight line. Axar trying to press Bonker out. Speedy ends up finding Resurrect early. Window coming out from Finny, but they're gonna just get dove on by Marlon and Dango. Cause trying to peel. Dango ends up going down. But it's kind of just Marlon and Cause here. Cause is much lower than Marlon. They're gonna end up taking out Cause, and Riot are gonna end up full capping this. After this. There we go. Yeah, very, very dominant from Impact here. Not really going with what I expected. I thought they were gonna try and run back to that Malga venture there.
Yeah, Riot really, I think Riot took them by surprise as well, because I think Impact was ready for that Adventure Malga comp that just didn't come.
Yeah, very dominant showing on the side of Riot capping this. Impact are really going to have to lock in here and try and do as much as they can on this attack. I'd be interested to see what Riot comes out here on this defense. Kind of sticking with the same situation. Dango switching over to that Wu Yang. Snappish sticking with that Ana. Cosmo switching over to the Diva here. Resurrect on that Sojourn. Jade ends up picking the Moira here. Probably trying to counter out that Genji. As Finny is gonna actually go over onto this Moira. Jade on the Lucio. I'm trying to go for a more dive-centric. Bonker setting up in this low room. Speedy on the height. Marlon setting up on that back corner.
Stop the payload.
Resurrect poking as much as he can. Speedy and Bonker just waiting for for an opportunity here. Cause taking this height, healing orb from Finny to try and keep Cosmo alive, but Speedy ends up finding Resurrect. Walker also in their backline ends up escaping. Cosmo's gonna get demeched. He ends up going down here. Jade also very low. He's gonna be falling back. Bonker finds him and staggers him out a bit. It's a very, very good showing from Riot on this first defense here. XR recalling early, trying to get as much poke as he can. 50% of ult already. But I think that Impact just need to be a little bit faster. Marlon and Bonker flying up in their backline. Marlon very, very, very low. Bonker and Marlon end up both falling. Speedy and both supports kind of in the back as his last line of defense. Snappish ends up finding Resurrect. Speedy very low, ends up falling, and it's just his supports now. Axar using the recall, but ends up falling to Dango. Dango going down, though. Snappish is going to end up going down here. There's a little bit of a stagger here from Riot. I don't think as dominant as Marlon and Bonker are, I don't think they're gonna want to go in on 3v5.
Breaking them down.
Resurrect setting up on this high ground, getting an angle here. Because Riot are gonna need to get a touch here really soon if they want to negate them and capture this point. Wall goes down early. Nano coming out here on. Gonna set up a dive here. Speedy ends up finding Finny, with Speedy very, very, very low. And Bonker coming out from the earth here, finds Resurrect. Speedy ends up finding Axer. Cause is gonna get demeched on the point. But no one on Impact is touching, no one on Riot is touching the point. But they end up finding Cause at the last second to try to negate that first cap. Dango has this Wu Yang, Marlon with the Hazel, Speedy also has that blade, but Impact coming up on 4 ults of their own.
Don't fret, I see you.
Cause has this bomb in order to remech. Cause jumping up on this high ground, gets pressured by Speedy, ball coming out early. They're gonna throw that down. Bonker coming in, goes underground, prevent getting killed. Speedy with this Wu Yang ult, ends up finding Finny. Marlon finds Resurrect. Cause, again, just left by himself on this point. And now he's gonna get staggered out. Oh, and he finds the remake onto Dango. He has this bomb as well. It could be another situation like King's. Nano coming out here onto Cause. He's gonna find that backline. Bonker finds Resurrect though. He's kind of wreaking havoc in their backline right now. Vinny ends up going down. Bonker very low, goes underground. Cause gets remeked again. It almost was a situation like King's Row, where Cause gets the remake, but then they played that perfectly. Demected him again. So it looks like Riot is gonna take this here. As Riot end up taking this, and they become your tier 3 console champions. It was a dominant showing on this last map.
Play of the game.
Yeah, Marlon just absolutely dominating on the path. So we're gonna get a couple of interviews here for you guys. I think if I were to vote for an MVP on the side of Riot, I think I'd have to give it to Bonker.
Yeah, I agree. I think
Either-
him and Marlon both pulled their weight. So I think either of them
Absolutely.
are very good options there.
Either him or honestly Snappish. Snappish was playing very, very well on whatever flexible they ended up playing him on. 'Cause the nanos and the antis last map definitely were a key factor in their victory today. But I think overall, I think I want to give this to Bonker. On the side of Impact, Axar
I think I was gonna
definitely,
say I think it's got to
yeah,
be Axar there.
yeah. Axar just absolutely putting the team on his back that whole time. Is
Tracer,
playing his
Genji,
absolute
it didn't
heart
really
out.
matter.
Yeah. We want is yeah, we're gonna go to a break and we'll get you your we're gonna go to a break and we'll get you your interviews here shortly. So welcome back, Kaizen. We have Axar out of Impact here, doing our post-game interview today. My first question, um, was there a specific moment when you felt the series kind of slipped away from your hands there?
Um, Honestly, yes. When they came out on the Marga Venture comp, we knew like we couldn't really deal with it. So we got kind of rolled on that push map. And since then, it was more of a scrap of like, what can we do to deal with it? Just never came up with a solution within the game.
I got you.
Yeah, that's completely fair. I think we noticed that from the caster side too, that Malga Venture comp was definitely their bread and butter, and it's a little rough to deal
Yeah,
with.
we were
I
more
was
like,
not jealous.
yeah, like we can't go on a backline because they're playing cast break back there. Can't find the front line because Venture Marga just don't die. So
Well, next question is, do you feel that there was a player on your side today that really stepped up, or that you feel um, played better than they normally do, or who would you vote as your MVP?
honestly, special mention to Finny. I think he played really, really well considering he had to play two different roles. Hasn't played too much with us either in league games. I think he did well.
I could definitely agree with that. As in my next question, um, any regrets or decisions you'd revisit in hide and
Um, Honestly, yes. I think we could have played a lot better. I think instead of trying to live the dives, I think we did call to try and trade backline, so it just didn't really do it enough. Maybe we could have played more Tracer Genji stuff instead of playing Eva one off, so that there wasn't a hit scan to get run on all the time. I'm sure you guys noticed John wasn't having a fun time.
Yeah.
Other than that, honestly, no. I think we practiced enough. We came in, we played it.
Yeah, fair. So the last question is, I guess since this is the last game of the season, what's your team's plan for next season? You guys sticking together? Are we running it again, running it back? What are we thinking?
So no, a lot of people have out tiered, so everyone's kind of moving away. Some people still stay on the same team in tier 4, I think. But
Okay,
no, I don't think you'll see
so
this
running
same
it back a
lineup
tier
again.
higher.
Possibly.
Yeah, fair.
Yeah, I'm definitely gonna become to see. Bonus question: like, what was y'all's kind of plan after like the server crash and reset? Did y'all have a plan going into that, or did everything kind of just get
Uh,
completely foiled? Or I just want to know your thoughts on that. Kind of what happened from y'all's
so
end.
I can't answer that question because I was out that map and they were all in team chat, so
I got you.
couldn't tell you unfortunately.
Understood. Yeah, thank you so much for stopping in.
No worries,
Hope
thank
to
you.
see you
Thank you
back.
for having me. Sure, I'll be there, maybe in tier 4.
Yeah.
We look forward to it.
Thank you, thank you.
Yeah. Do we want to do a brief pause while we get Riot in, or? Yeah, we're gonna go to a brief pause. We're going to get the entirety of Riot in for the post game interview here. As we will see you right back here shortly.
All right, Kaizen, welcome back. We've got actually the entirety of Riot teams here. We're gonna go ahead and just interview all of them now that they've officially just been crowned Tier 3 console champions. So we'll start with Marlon here. Marlon, how does it feel today to be champion, and what did your team work towards to get to this point?
I mean, it obviously feels good. Like after losing to them in like the first round, I think we played, just getting it back. We just had consistent scrims most of the time, and just always working our strength, not trying to counter anyone, just playing what we are good at, just playing our own game. I feel like we did that.
Yeah,
Yeah, I would
very
definitely
understandable.
say you did. I would definitely say you did. I think that
Yeah,
after interviewing Axar, that Mauga venture really made them pull their hair out there. So
yeah,
I think you definitely accomplished that.
definitely playing into your strengths and playing what you guys are good at. And I mean, I've seen it. I played against you guys, and that's very, very dominant. That composition stuff is. The next question for Bonker here. What was your game plan going into the finals, and did anything surprise you about the opponent's approach?
Not really. The game plan was just play our own game, play what we are strong at. Like we were confident at the things we tried. We had some like ups and downs, but we just tried to make sure that we could play our heroes on the maps they're strong and not think too much about what they want to play, and don't be scared of them. Like there's a few times where I said like I'm not gonna play this because I'll be really bad at this, and team was just like, nah, we won't lose, just play it. And we just got positive, played our heroes, and that's how we went into this.
Yeah, you've definitely showed a lot of strength. Definitely, yeah, showed a lot of strength from what you guys played. I mean, it's definitely leaning into what was kind of normal for you guys. Definitely, put you guys into a really good position.
All right, next question is for Speedy. Was there a turning point where you felt the momentum of the game shift to your guys' favor over the other team? And if so, what was it?
In all honesty, I'd say definitely after um probably circuit. In all
Okay.
honesty, I didn't get to watch the Esperanza game because I had something to deal with. So yeah,
What part of
uh,
the circuit game like felt really good?
uh, I'm so sorry. My
You're
brain's
good.
kind of fried. I'm tired. I don't even remember. I wasn't there.
All good, all good.
I'm tired. It's my bad.
We could go on to Dago's question. You're good. Thank you.
Yeah, sorry. Sorry.
Yeah. Next question, I'll ask Dango here. What was the hardest part of this journey to the top? I know y'all had kind of the low bracket run and kind of asserting your dominance down there, but yeah, what was the hardest part of like getting here to this point?
The hardest part, I feel like, for me or for our entire team.
I would go both.
Okay, me, the hardest part was converting myself to main support. I used to play DPS for this team until I think our manager Bacon asked for me to play support, and I just could play main support. And I feel like getting that main support was probably the biggest uphill for me.
Good old
And
Bacon.
for my
Shout out to Bacon.
Not to be confused with me.
cooking bacon, yeah, that guy. And for the team, I think just replacing our roster, because we've lost a lot of our players due to bans and, well, someone not even being able to play because they have to visit a family. I feel like our roster change is probably the biggest thing, because we have to play again and um, to get a feel of how we play and stuff. So I thought that's probably the biggest uphill for us to adjust to our new team members, like Mango and stuff, and Snappish.
Good segue, because this next question's for you, Snappish. So what can you say about like the way your team communicates in high pressure moments or high pressure situations, and how did that help you win today?
I have to say, no matter what's going on in the fight, you always have like great comms anyways from like either like Mango or Bonker. They're always very level and they're able to get the plan down very quickly. I think it's very good.
Yeah. Bonus question here for Fish and probably Bonker and Marlin as well. What was y'all's plan going back into after the disconnect on Suravasa? It was like what was kind of y'all's plan after restarting the map and like running back into it?
I mean, I could say. I think that, to be honest, I think we felt at the time, and I probably feel like now. I felt like the thing was pretty. I think it was pretty unlucky for us. I think we were in a pretty really good position, to be honest. Like we had a really good old position. Like we had control. We had the point taking up. Like I think there's very likely 95% that we win that map. So like it really felt bad. But then actually, like when we thought about it a little bit, like after we thought, actually we've just won the last 3 points basically. So it's like we just go back in and we just keep going with the momentum. And then I mean, their comp changed, and I don't know. I feel like maybe the comp changes weren't for the better.
Yeah, absolutely. And then kind of like a final going out question here for Marlon and Bonker. What's next for you guys, and how are you guys gonna celebrate tonight? Or any word fans watching and supporting you today?
Okay, go ahead.
Okay, so as for Riot, I don't really know what's gonna happen with Riot. I think we'll still have to see. I'm probably gonna ask everyone what they're gonna do, like I always do, if a team does something or accomplishes their goal. As for me, I will probably go like higher tier, kind of have to, because of this season's placements and stuff.
Yeah.
I don't really know what the rest of the team are gonna do, so I'll still have to ask them. And how I'm gonna celebrate is probably finally go to bed in time because I'm really sick. I do not feel well.
Yeah, it definitely is a little later over there for you guys than it is for us over here. So
Yeah. Just kind of the whole team. Is like any final words from you guys after winning today?
I think I'll just think I just think I'm actually really fucking proud. Aside of him, I have to swear. Like these guys work so hard. Like as I've said in the semi-final interview, like these guys have worked so much harder than anyone else. Like it's undeniable. Like especially like I mean Marlon and Bonker I said are good players. Like I mean everyone's good, but like they were good before. Like I think everyone else has worked incredibly hard. And I actually think I want to say I think like Snappish I think doesn't get like anywhere near enough credits. I think I see fucking Octane in the chat talking about how Snappish is a bad player. Like
Yeah.
I mean the rate of improvement on Snappish is just crazy. Like
Yeah.
like this guy transcends in the last 2 weeks of the season. So yeah.
Yeah.
Thank
Thank
you.
you guys so much for coming in and giving us this final interview. What a game. I was not like all games, all the maps were close, everything was close. It went 6. It was absolutely insane. It was just really fun match to watch. The cast, even as a casting debut for me, it was absolutely insane to watch. And I really am happy for you guys. I just want to wish you guys a huge
yeah, it was
congratulations.
both of our first, but we wanted to make sure we got at least one
I
of the games
should
today
Ajax for you.
casted.
My
So.
bad. I should have Ajax.
Yeah,
I didn't know that.
But
Yeah, so when you watch it back, just take it easy on us as well.
Yeah, I definitely got a couple names wrong. I got some sides. Yeah.
Oh wait, that's what happened when he got out. He just
Yeah, when I
jumped in?
left, it's
Listen,
I've
he
like
keeps
biffed
saying
up
that
my
he
settings
keeps.
and
He keeps saying he DC. No, he didn't. He said, "Oh shoot, I need to get out because I'm in player point of view and I don't want to be.
Yeah,
So
I
I'll
was
be
stuck
back."
on payer PV. Yeah. You know. Yeah, great job, everybody. Hope to see you guys around next season.
I
Congrats.
think we might. I think we
Very good.
might. That might be a problem, but we'll.
There's always tier 4.
Yeah.
Take care.
I'm an A, so it might be a little bit of a issue. But as one more thing, I'd like to say a special thank you to Fish and Staney, being coaches, all the VOD reviews and everything like that. Helped me out a lot personally. So
Cheers, mate. I'll drink to that.
I go right there.
Yeah.
All right, and yeah, we're gonna kind of wrap up this stream here. Thank you guys for watching, and hope to see you guys. I think our next stream will probably be the Tier 1 finals next week, and I don't know if I'm wrong, but I'm hoping that that's gonna be the Vic and Godly cast, as everybody's been anticipating. Maybe. We will see. It's gonna be a very fun experience for everybody. Yeah, thank you very much for joining us today.
Thank you.
Congrats
Thanks,
again,
Riot.
Riot.
Yeah, congrats
thank you.
again to Riot, our
Thank you,
Tier
thank you.
3 console champions.
Are we clear? WM.
And scene.
Okay. We're not streaming anymore?